A 130-pound Cane Corso stepped into a baby's paddling pool on a Saturday morning in July and did not get out for 26 minutes. The pool held 2 inches of water. It was designed for a 10-month-old. Titan had no interest in these facts. He had made his decision, and the baby in the yellow dress holding her plastic cup had absolutely no idea she was supposed to object. Dren set up the pool on a Saturday morning in July. It was a small thing, barely 18 inches of water, designed for a 10-month-old baby girl in a yellow dress. It sat in the backyard between the fence and the garden hose, perfectly sized for one small human to splash around in on a hot afternoon. Titan had other ideas. He stepped into the pool at 11:23 a.m. and did not get out for 26 minutes. He stood in ankle-deep water with the complete authority of someone who had just purchased the property. Sophie sat at the edge, holding her plastic cup, staring at 130 pounds of black Cane Corso standing in her pool, and the expression on her face said exactly one thing: what is happening right now? But to understand how a 130-pound dog ended up standing in a baby's paddling pool on a Saturday morning in Nashville, Tennessee, you have to understand Titan. And to understand Titan, you have to start from the beginning. Jen Calloway was 31 years old, a pediatric occupational therapist who spent her days teaching children how to use their hands, their bodies, their words. She came home every evening to a 4-year-old named Mason, a 10-month-old named Sophie, and a 130-pound Cane Corso who had long ago decided that the job of managing this household fell entirely to him. Titan had been with Jen since he was 11 weeks old, a black bundle of loose skin and oversized paws that fit in a laundry basket and looked nothing like what he would eventually become. The vet said he would be large. The vet was not specific enough. Cane Corsos were Roman war dogs, guard dogs, hunters. They were bred for seriousness, for loyalty, for the kind of focus that does not waver. They were not bred to stand in a 10-month-old's paddling pool, and yet here we are. Here's the first thing you need to know about Titan. He has rules. Not the kind of rules Jen sets, those barely count in this house. Titan's rules, unwritten, non-negotiable, and enforced with complete theatrical commitment. Rule 1, the couch belongs to Titan. Jen and the kids may sit on it, but only after Titan has approved the seating arrangement. He will arrive, assess the configuration, and rearrange people by leaning on them until they shift. Rule 2, meals are a group activity. If Jen eats without Titan in the room, he will appear from wherever he was, place his chin on the table at the exact height of whatever is on her plate, and stare until she acknowledges him. Not for food, just for acknowledgement. Rule 3, and this is the important one, Sophie's things are also Titan's things. Her toys, her blanket, her crackers, her paddling pool. Everything. Sophie, for her part, has no idea she is supposed to find any of this alarming. She is 10 months old. She weighs 19 pounds. She has been sharing her floor space, her toys, and now, apparently, her pool with a 130-pound animal since before she could sit up on her own. And as far as she is concerned, this is simply how houses work. Every morning before Sophie's eyes are fully open, Titan is already there. He walks to her crib at 7:04 a.m., not 7, not 7:10, but 7:04, and stands outside it until she makes a sound. The moment she does, his tail starts. Not a wag, a full rotation, like a helicopter preparing for takeoff. Jen has tested this. She stood outside Sophie's room at 7 a.m. and watched Titan arrive at 7:04 every single morning for 11 days straight. She does not know how he knows. She has decided she does not want to know. The cracker situation started in April. Sophie had begun eating solid food, and her favorites were the small round crackers that came in a yellow container. Titan became aware of the yellow container. Titan became very aware of the yellow container. He would sit 3 feet away while Sophie ate, completely still, watching each cracker travel from container to mouth with the focused attention of someone monitoring a very important transaction. He never lunged, never moved closer than 3 feet. He just watched, and the watching itself had a presence. One afternoon, Sophie held a cracker out towards him. Titan did not move for 4 seconds. Then he leaned forward and took it from her fingers so gently that Jen, watching from the kitchen doorway, actually held her breath. Not because she was afraid, because she had never seen anything that large move that carefully. Sophie laughed, full baby laugh, the kind that takes over her whole body. She held out another one. Titan took it the same way. This has been their afternoon ritual for 3 months. Crackers at 3:15 p.m. Titan arrives, Sophie holds her hand, he takes, she laughs, he stays. But none of this, not the crib vigil, not the cracker ritual, not the couch rearrangements, prepared anyone in this house for what happened in July. Jen set up the pool on a Thursday plan, executed Saturday morning. She filled it with the garden hose, placed Sophie inside in her yellow dress, and watched Jen run circles around the yard, doing what 4-year-olds do, which is everything, constantly, at full volume. Titan was on the porch. He watched Jen fill the pool, he watched Sophie get placed inside, he watched Sophie splash with both hands and look up with the expression of someone who has just discovered that water moves. Then Titan stood up. He walked off the porch, crossed the yard, stepped over the edge of the paddling pool with one enormous leg, then the other, and stood there. In 2 inches of water, in a pool designed for an infant, with the posture of someone who'd been waiting for this exact moment and had finally arrived. Sophie looked up at him. He looked down at her. She held out her plastic cup. He sniffed it. She pulled it back. He watched the cup. For about 30 seconds, nothing happened. Sophie splashed the water once. Titan watched the splash. Sophie splashed again, this time harder, and a small wave hit Titan's front leg. He looked down at his leg. He looked at Sophie. Sophie looked back at him with the specific expression of someone who is not sure if they are in trouble. Titan's tail moved once. Sophie splashed again. Jen stood at the edge with her phone raised and did not move because she was not sure if she was witnessing something sweet or something that required intervention. It was both. It was absolutely both. If you're still here and haven't subscribed yet, that stings a little. Hit subscribe because what happens next in this pool you need to see. Mason came running from the other side of the yard. He stopped at the edge. He looked at Titan standing in the baby's pool. He looked at his mother. He said, "Mom, that's not his pool." Jen said, "I know, buddy." Mason looked at Titan again. Titan did not look at Mason. Mason tried climbing in anyway. Titan shifted his weight slightly to the left. Mason had approximately 11 inches of pool to work with. He sat in it anyway because he is 4 years old and 11 inches of pool is still a pool. The three of them sat in that paddling pool for 26 minutes. A 130-pound Cane Corso, a 4-year-old, and a 10-month-old in a yellow dress. Jen took 16 photographs. In every single one, Titan is looking directly at Sophie. Not at the water, not at Mason, at Sophie. Here's something most people do not know about Cane Corsos. They do not attach to households. They attach to people, specific people. And once they attach, that attachment is not something you can redirect. It just is. It becomes part of how they move through the world. Titan attached to Sophie the day she came home from the hospital. Jen remembers it exactly. She carried Sophie through the front door in a car seat, and Titan walked over, lowered his enormous head, and pressed his nose to the edge of the blanket. He held it there for 6 seconds, then he sat down and did not leave the room for the rest of the day. He has not really left her side since. There are things Titan does that Jen has never taught him. He does not walk in front of Sophie when she cruises along the furniture. He walks behind her, slightly to the right, at about 12 inches. If she loses her balance, he is already there. Not to catch her, he's not built for that, but to be the thing she falls against instead of the floor. Jen noticed this on a Tuesday in June. She watched it happen 3 times before she said anything out loud. She called her mother that evening. She did not know how to explain it, so she just described it. A 130-pound Cane Corso walking behind a 10-month-old at 12 inches, positioning himself between her and the floor for no reason anyone taught him. Her mother said, "He knows." Jen said, "He's a dog." Her mother said, "He knows." That evening, Jen sat on the back porch after the kids were in bed, and Titan sat next to her, not touching her, just beside her. She looked at him for a long time. He looked at the yard. The yard was quiet. The paddling pool was still out there, deflating slightly on one side, catching the last of the evening light. Jen thought about the 16 photographs on her phone. Titan standing in 2 inches of water, Titan looking at Sophie, Sophie holding out her cup, and she thought about the fact that nobody had told him to do any of it. Nobody had trained him into any of it. He had just shown up, stepped in, and stayed. He had been in this house for 3 years. He had watched Mason learn to walk, then run, then ride a bike with training wheels he refused to give up until April. He had watched Sophie arrive as something small and fragile, and he had watched her become someone with opinions about crackers and plastic cups and who gets to be in the paddling pool. And through it all of it, Titan had just been there, not performing, not trained into it, just present, like some living things are present, like they have decided this is where they belong and see no reason to argue with that. That's not something you train into a dog. That's something a dog decides. Back in the pool as the afternoon wore on and Sophie had worked her way through most of the water in her cup. Titan finally stepped out. He shook himself once, walked to his spot on the porch, and lay down. Sophie watched him go. Then she looked at the cup in her hand, looked back at Titan on the porch, and held it out toward him. He was too far away. He could not see him. He was already asleep. But she held it out anyway. People say that babies do not understand attachment, that they respond to warmth and presence, but they don't understand it, not really, not yet. Sophie held that cup out to a sleeping dog from across the backyard, and Jen took the 17th photograph of the afternoon. You do not know what a dog understands, you only know what they do. Titan stands in her pool. He walks behind her along the furniture. He takes crackers from her hand like they are made of something that might break. He shows up to her crib at 7:04 a.m. every morning before she has made a single sound. People see the jaw, the weight, the collar. They change direction on the path. They cross the street. They do not see the dog who stood in a 10-month-old's paddling pool for 26 minutes because he decided at 11:23 on a Saturday morning that if she was in it, he was in it. Would you let a 130-pound Cane Corso share your baby's paddling pool? Tell me in the comments.